Welcome to Black Angus Reviews. If you saw my latest Raw reaction, you'll know I saw Avengers Endgame on the opening premiere in my theater and loved it. After seeing this post from a friend on Twitter, I started to investigate, and as of yet, it appears to be a convincing fake. But what was cool to find was this article from Polygon interviewing the creator of Thanos, as well as Adam Warlock and other iconic Marvel characters, Jim Starlin, sitting down with him after the LA premiere of Endgame, getting his thoughts on the portrayal of Thanos in the next phase for the MCU. First, Polygon asked, how do you feel about Thanos in the movies? Was there anything left out that you would have liked to see, or vice versa? Was there anything the Russos did with Thanos that you wish you'd done first? For those who've read the Infinity comics and are perhaps purists, Starlin's answer may be surprising. Starlin replies, I've worked with movie scripts before, and I've come to the conclusion that anyone who thinks they're going to get a carbon copy of what they put down on paper is just being foolish. These movie production companies are spending millions and millions of dollars, and they're going to work it around to their universe, which is different than the comic book universe. So overall, no, I was very happy with what they'd done with Thanos. Actually, there were a couple of things that they did that I thought were really great ideas that I wish I had done in the comics, such as him taking off the armor when he gets a couple of the gems, stones they call it, and doesn't need the armor anymore. It just never struck me as an idea at the time, and I thought, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. I know a lot of people were upset by that, but he shows up in the armor again in Avengers Endgame, so it all balanced out nicely. But you know, I think they really stay with the spirit of the character, if not the exact letter of it, and I think Josh Brolin, the writers, and the Russos did a great job on putting his little story together. I think of it as like, how would Arthur Conan Doyle feel if he saw all the different movie versions of Sherlock Holmes? He wouldn't recognize it at certain points. You have to come in to the game realizing that there are going to be changes. Polygon goes on to add, one of those things people wrestle with after Infinity War is also one of the biggest changes. His motivation is different. He's not in love with Mistress Death, which has left him open to questions like why didn't he use the Infinity Stones to make twice as many resources instead of killing half of all life? As both the guy who created the character and as someone who understands that things change in adaptation, do you have your own solution to that new question of Thanos' motivations? Starlin replies, well, the reason they eliminated Mistress Death from the storyline is that Marvel Studios feels that it's a little too early to be adding these abstract entities into the mix, which is, I think, something they're going to change once they've got a couple of Doctor Strange movies more out of the way. His movie motivation is actually right out of the comics in issue 34 of Silver Surfer. That was going to be my route that I was going to take with him in Infinity Gauntlet, but I quickly realized that I was going to be working myself into a corner, and I wanted to bring Mistress Death into it because she'd been an aspect of the character before. So I switched that around and made it so it was just a scam. So his motivation is true to the spirit of the character and the storyline, if not exactly right on the mark. Things change and you go with the flow and enjoy the ride while you can. Personally, having read the Thanos quest in Infinity Gauntlet prior to Thor Ragnarok's release, I assumed they would retool Hela, the goddess of death, to be Mistress Death stand-in. But what I got in Infinity War, as some of you long listeners know, was the perfect villain for me to gravitate to, and in my view, finally, a character to rival Vader. Lastly, Polygon asks Starlin about Adam Warlock. One of the biggest Infinity Gauntlet characters who isn't in the movie is one of yours, Adam Warlock. He was teased at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 seems to have undergone a lot of upheaval. If Warlock does show up in the next Guardians or a latter Marvel movie, what do you want to see out of that character in the movies? Starlin goes on to reply, well, the scuttlebutt is that he's going to start off as a villain like he did in the comic books when he was him. Probably going after the Guardians, as they hint about at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. What happens to him after that is anyone's guess. Marvel plays these things very close to the vest, and they have announced some other movies that are coming up in the next phase, but that doesn't mean that there aren't more coming. So I have high hopes that we'll see Warlock again after the next Guardians movie, if he appears in it, and I hope that he encounters a fellow named Pip the Troll along the way. He's the one I really want to see come into the movie. So there you have it, folks. It seems Starlin is aware of Adam Warlock's adaptation in the MCU. Along with that, he discusses Thor post-Endgame, noting that while it seemed he may be joining them at the end, he wasn't originally written into the plot for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. How does all of these insights from Starlin make you feel about Infinity War, Endgame, and the coming plans for the MCU post-Endgame? Drop a comment below and let's discuss. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you'd like to support this channel, consider becoming a patron or buying store merch from the Teespring store. Don't forget to check out the growing list of friends in the Fandom Collective in the description below, and follow me on Twitter @AngusReviews. See you there.